So today I want to talk about one of my favorite kinds of videos to work on, and that is the brand film. In my opinion, every business, every organization, every charity, every nonprofit, every company needs a brand film. Now, brand films are some of my favorite kind of videos to work on for clients, and that's because it's a lot like my passion of documentary filmmaking. There's a lot of similarities there. You are essentially bringing out the story of a business or a company or whoever it is you're working for and trying to turn that into a 3 to 5 minute mini documentary. Essentially, for me, it's just another opportunity to try and build out a story that best presents the values and the story of the client at hand. And the challenge for me is to be able to do that using cinematography, editing, sound, storytelling in general, and ultimately producing a video. So what is a brand film? You can think about a brand film as kind of a short film that is built to convey the story and the values of the brand that the brand film is associated to. The intention here is to connect to the target audience in a much deeper way, in an emotional way, to allow them to emotionally invest in your brand. The idea behind a brand film is to invite the audience into intentions, motivations, and ultimately foundations of the company or business. Now, what I love about working on brand films is that there's usually a focus on emotional storytelling. The idea is to translate the company's mission statement or foundational value into a compelling story, and that story is intended to, like I said, evoke the emotions of the audience and essentially create a connection with the audience. When your target audience knows who you are, when they know what you do, when they know why you do it, when they know the faces behind the company and the story behind the company, they're more likely to do business with you. They're more likely to invest in your product or your vision. A brand film is also focused on values. What are the values of the company more so than the product itself? What kind of values is the company looking to introduce into the world, and how can we as the target audience connect with those values? I think a wonderful way to think about this are the kind of videos that Nike produces. If you look at their short films and the videos they generally produce, and this is something I continuously pitch to clients, it's very rarely focused on the product overtly. And in fact, more often than not, their films are usually very disconnected from their products. Their films are about something else. They're about empowerment. They're about standing up to injustice. They are about going the extra mile, about pushing yourself. They're not there to sell you their products overtly. Rather, what they're doing is selling you their values, or their supposed values. The idea here is that you subconsciously connect their products to their values. You connect a pair of Nike trainers or sneakers to standing up against justice, to pushing yourself to go the furthest mile, to breaking out of the norm. Films like these resonate with the target audience more, and it is the job of us filmmakers to look at the client that we're representing. How can we translate their values and their mission statement into an attractive, emotional, motivating story that also kind of summarizes what the brand is about? I think another great example of this philosophy was a short film that I saw by Cartart called Made in Montana, which featured the Yellowstone actor, I forgot his name. But essentially, it wasn't overtly about Cartart. I don't think they ever mentioned their products or jackets or wherever they sell once. Rather, they just made a film specifically about living in Montana. They made a film about the philosophies and values that come with living in such an environment, and subconsciously that connects those values and those philosophies to whatever Cartart sells. The idea here is that they're selling you their philosophies and their values. They're not here to sell you their products overtly. And I'll be completely honest, that same day I went and bought a Cartart jacket. So it worked. This is something I'm continuously pushing to clients when they come to me for brand films. I always tell them, look, the intention here is not to create a video that's necessarily going to go viral. The intention here is to not create something that's going to be churned out as content. The idea here is that you're creating something beautiful, something that your target audience can connect to, so they see who's behind the logo. They see who's behind the mission statement. And when I say they see who's behind it, I don't mean faces specifically. What I mean is they see the motivation behind the logo. They see the motivation behind the brand. They see the motivation behind whoever's selling what they're selling. That is something incredibly valuable, because what you're doing there is you're creating a direct connection between you and your target audience. And not just any connection, but a strong connection, an emotive connection. It's similar to when you go to the cinema and you watch a very motivating, emotional film and you walk out reflecting on that film. That is also what a brand film was trying to do, although it's doing it through the lens of that company. Brand films are also great because they are somewhat timeless. They are evergreen. They can be placed on your website, on your landing page, and they can remain there for years on end, which is completely different to short-term, fast content that's being churned out over time. Nor is it specific necessarily to a campaign that might start and finish, but rather, because it's connected to the foundation of the brand, it can stay on your website for years on end, and it can stay pinned to the top of your Instagram feed. Meaning that anyone who over time is introduced to your brand, the first thing they'll do is click on that video, and in that 3 to 5 minutes, understand your values on a deep, emotional level. We know very well the value of video, the fact that YouTube is the #1 streaming service right now, and the fact that Instagram in the past few years has heavily invested in video shows you how valuable it is. There is no better way than to connect to your target audience through video. And while there are many different types of videos that you can create as a company, a brand film, in my opinion, is one of the most surefire ways to connect with your target audience, and not only connect with them, but to connect with them on a deep, intimate level. And that relationship that you build through said video brings you closer to your goal as a company. Hope you enjoyed that breakdown of what a brand film is. Like I said, I love working on brand films because it really speaks to my passion of telling stories and does so in such a way where I can make an income, I can benefit my clients too. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.